So you're finally taking that plunge in 2025. You're going to be gearing up to move to Bend or Central Oregon. Or if you're already here, you're gearing up to maybe sell a home in preparation to buy another home. Or maybe you're just gearing up to buy a home in some capacity at some point this year. And you need to keep your finger on the pulse of the market. When you're preparing to enter the market, it's very important to understand where the market is right now as you prepare for that transactional period of time in which you'll be in the thick of it. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing all things relating to the Bend and Central Oregon state of the market as it relates to mid-January 2025. Crazy, we're already halfway through January. In preparation, leading up to transactional season as it gets closer to March, April, May, and then into the summer. So if a video sounds like it could serve you in some capacity, a monthly market update video relating to Central Oregon real estate, stick around. We're jumping into it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel or it's your 50th, it doesn't matter to me. And you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good with the bad of living in sunny in January and almost 60 degrees in January, Central Oregon, then subscribe to the channel and tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market happenings here in Bend and Central Oregon. My name's Ryan. I've lived in Bend for over 30 years. Zach, my business partner, and I, we get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking for help on their next transaction as it relates to real estate here in Central Oregon. So whether you're looking to make that transaction a reality in the next 9 days or 90, that also doesn't matter to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, set up a Zoom, or if you're local, we'll go get coffee somewhere and we can discuss your situation to figure out what the next course of action should be. So we're already halfway through January, and I think a lot of that has to do with the spectacular weather that we've been getting here in Bend. 55 degrees, bluebird sunshine, maybe even 60 degrees on one or two of those days last week. So we'll take it. We know it's not going to last, but we get those spurts in January and February and more so in March and April. And that's just kind of how things progress here weather-wise in Bend and Central Oregon in the wintertime and springtime. And real estate kind of follows suit. It's almost like they mirror each other when it comes to the activity. Right now, it's going to be a slower time of year. There's not so many homes on the market, but we're starting to see and feel the momentum pick up a little bit as we get into the last half of January. December historically is a very slow month for obvious reasons. January, the same. It's winter-like conditions here in January. People are more so preparing to enter the market in January as opposed to actually entering the market. But as we progress through the month, we're getting into February and March where activity picks up. And so right now, if you're a buyer, it's a good time to be a buyer. There's more inventory on the market as of this recording in a January than we've had for any other previous January in probably the last 5 to 7 years. So 2.5 to 3 months of inventory right now is available for you to be looking at if you're purchasing a home this year, and there's just not as many people competing for those homes. So that can give you a real opportunity. With less competition means homes stay on the market longer. Okay, we're at 45 days. We'll be looking at that data here real soon for Bend and the rest of the areas in Central Oregon, but 45 days to 50 days on the market for an average, that can make sellers a little bit exhausted, a little bit impatient, maybe a little more prone to taking an offer below their ask price by a decent chunk too, 25,000, 50,000 for homes in the higher price points, maybe 100,000 or more. So all things to consider if you're in the market for purchasing a home right now. It doesn't have to be a wait for the perfect moment. And most people think that the spring season represents a more favorable situation. And while there might be more homes that do eventually come to market, there could be more people entering to purchase too. What can that do with more competition? It can drive prices up. So all things to consider. We're going to jump into the computer right now to give you the actual data of what's going on in and around Bend and Central Oregon for the month of January. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll just get right into it. Okay, so we've got our beacon report up here for January of 2025, the first month of the year. And of course, this is data that's backdated to December of 2024. But it's represented as January. So what we're going to see here is a second straight month of $700,000 for a Bend median home price. Okay, we were at 800 just 2 months ago, and we came down $100,000 in a single month. Now, I understand that the median home price will fluctuate quite a bit throughout the course of a year, but if you zoom out and you just look at a year over year style progression, what you're going to see is kind of a linear line that goes up at like maybe a 45-degree angle or a little bit lower than that. But what we know is that over the course of time, real estate in Bend and Central Oregon is going to go up in value as time moves on. I can remember just going back to say 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago in 2019, there were articles all over our local news outlets suggesting that Bend's booming housing market was going crazy because our median home price was $450,000. Well, here we are now, just 5 short years later, and we're thinking that $700,000 for a median home price is a dip in the market. And it kind of is, but it's been kind of $700,000 to $800,000 per month over the last several months. But yeah, maybe going back multiple years, but that's kind of where our median home price has been sitting at for the last year to 18 months, in the sevens. Before that, it was probably in the sixes a little bit, but generally speaking, we've had sevens pretty consistently for a while. Where is the median home price in Bend going to be, say, in 3 to 5 more years? I can bet and venture to say it's not going to be in the sevens. It's going to be somewhere else. And if I was a gambling man, I would gamble to say that it was going to be up above 7. So we'll just see how things play out. If we continue to scroll down and look at more data that's going on here in the Central Oregon area, our number of sales, okay? Like I said earlier in the video, we get most of our slow growth, slow activity throughout the course of a 12-month year in the months of January and back to December. So we look at this, we had 105 sales last month. You can see from the fall, it's steadily going down. And if you go back beyond that, what you're going to see is that the spring, the summer, and then usually the fall are going to be the busiest times of year. If we go back the year before, we're looking at less volume. 90 transactions and 89 transactions respectively for December of 23 and January of 2024. If we go back another year, we're at 98 and 84. It's basically the only 2 months out of the year each year that we have a chance of having under 100 transactions in a month in Bend. And so we had 105 in our most recent December. We'll see what this January looks like as we get our data for the next month in a couple of weeks. We scroll down though, what we're noticing here is that Bend has been steady with their prices. The interest rates, the hikes in those, recent hikes, it's slowed down the volume of transactions. It's also increased the days on the market. And so we talked about this a second ago, but let's take a look at the last 3 months. When's the last time Bend had 3 straight months of over 40 days on market? I can see 2 here going back to about a year ago. Again, the seasonality of things. And if we go back another year, what we're going to see here, still nothing but 1 month of 51 days. And before that, this is the COVID boom here. So you can see that as an outlier if we really zoom out over decades of time. But generally speaking, 40 to 45 to 50 days represents a more balanced market. Sellers are still going to get their home sold. It might take a little bit longer. They might have to reduce their price a little bit, but they're generally going to get a price for their home that suggests its fair market value. And then buyers can be very particular about how they approach purchasing a home in a market like this. They don't have to be in a frenzy state of mind where it's like, here's a home on the market, I better offer 10, 20, 30 grand over ask just to ensure that I'm in the conversation. That's not the case anymore. So you can actually go into purchasing a home with patience and diligence, knowing that you can wait a couple days. You can make an offer then after you've seen the house, and it doesn't have to be for ask. Maybe it's under ask, depending on how long the home's been on the market. So all things relating to a balanced market right now, but a good market for buyers. We haven't had such a good buyer's market in the Bend area in some time. So this bodes well. It's to your advantage. Building permits last month, 57. Okay, we're starting to gear up again. We'll see what our building permits look like as we get further into the winter and into the early spring. We continue on. These are cash versus financing transactions. We'll continue on there. Our supply, okay, this is another thing that I bring to attention because supply is a key here, key metric, and it's our first time having under 3 months of supply in probably 6 months or 7 months. But before that, when's the last time we had over 3 months of supply? It's been over 3 years, probably 5 to 7 years. And that is a huge deal because Bend needs more housing to kind of balance prices out. Right now, I'd say 2.5 is the reason behind that has a lot to do with the fact that we are in the winter time. There's a lot of people that are getting ready to list their home, but they're just not officially on the market yet. So in the springtime, say February, March, April, that's when we'll see an uptick in our inventory again. We should probably creep up over 3 months again, I would expect. So we'll just have to wait and see what it looks like here in a month. If we scroll down again, here's our median sale price per square foot, 356. That's relative to every month's data. We scroll down to Redmond. Let's take a look here. Redmond is just Mr. or Mrs. Consistency as it relates to the median home price. It's been very, very consistent over the last several months. In fact, 500,000 for a median home price is basically what it feels like the median price would be over the last 36 months if we drew a line all the way through the last 3 years. And so again, the most recent data suggests that we're just under 500,000 for a median home price. And again, Redmond is constantly getting stronger, more available housing. There's a lot of boost to the economy. There's all kinds of new businesses showing up, but it's still a very affordable place to live as it relates to Bend. Same mountain views, same outdoor amenities. And so a lot of people will learn about Bend and Central Oregon first, and then they'll start to explore the other areas and then settle on Redmond because it's just a better value. And that still holds true to this day. So right now there's about a $200,000 discrepancy between Bend and Redmond for a median home price. That can vary all the way up to 300 or maybe a little over 300,000 for a month-to-month basis. But ultimately speaking, you're 10 to 12 miles apart. And eventually it already feels like it's one in the same area, but it's going to get closer and closer and closer together as time goes on. So great value in Redmond as always, as it relates to the housing market in Bend. Number of sales, 60. Okay, we had 105 in Bend last month. We're at 60 for Redmond this most previous month. And so Redmond's at about 40,000 people. Bend's at about 105 to 110,000 people. You can see there's still pretty healthy transactional volume going on in Redmond as we speak. If we continue to scroll down, what we're going to see here is median days on market took a big spike up. And so this could be really beneficial for anybody in the market right now. How many homes are on the market in Redmond? How many homes have been on the market for over 57 days? Those sellers are getting fatigued. They're getting impatient. Now could be a good time to make an offer that could bode well for you as a potential purchaser in Redmond. There could be great value to be had if you're in the market for a purchase of a home in Redmond right now. And that bodes well for any market where they've had inventory sitting for a while with median days continuing to go up. So if we scroll down, the next key metric I want to show you is inventory. And so it did kind of stay steady the last 2 months, but we were dating back to August, September of 2024 at 4 months of inventory, and we've come down. We're at 50% of that right now. I expect, again, like Bend, a kind of an uptick in the inventory as we get into March, into April. So if you're going to wait for that, that's fine. There could be more homes to select from, but just know that there's probably going to be more people in the market looking for those homes as well. So it could just kind of offset, balance itself out, but there's great value to be had in the market right now with the state of the market, interest rates being high. You can always refi out of that rate, but you can't change the price that you bought the home at 5 years from now. But you can certainly change the rate. So things to consider when it comes to being in a market where some people dub it challenging or frustrating, or they need to wait because frankly, it may not make the most sense to do so. If we scroll down, let's get into the other markets of Central Oregon here, and we can wrap this video up. Now we're looking at the smaller areas here. Sisters, of course, had 14 transactions last month, and the median home price is $700,000. Median days on market's 14, with inventory of being 2 months. Sisters is a very booming small town. It will continue to boom. There's a lot of people that love that area and want to move there. And so always keep an eye on sisters. It's very, very popular, and it's probably the fastest growing market in terms of its percentage in Central Oregon right now. Sun River, okay, 3 sales, kind of a vacation market, 1.175 for the median home price just based off of 3 sales. So again, wide ranging fluctuations. I think last month it was at 1.6. So, it comes down 400,000 plus in a single month. I mean, that's, it's just a testament to the fact that, well, we're in a vacation home market here. If we continue on, we have Lapine, okay, another very up and coming town. It's growing at a pretty fast clip in one of the most affordable places in Central Oregon. 11 sales, totaling 360,000 for a median home price, and then 63 days on market with 5 months inventory. So if you're interested in Lapine, telling you, there's great value to be had. There's a ton of inventory there, and the homes sit on the market for a while. So anytime you as a buyer go into Lapine considering a home, you have a real opportunity to get yourself some awesome value with that purchase. We continue on. We have Jefferson County, and that's Madras, 331 for a median. Homes sold last month were just 8. Okay, there's about 12,000 people there. And so that's not too many. And we've got days on market being 85, so longer than Lapine. Current inventory is at 4 months. If we continue and finish up with Crook County, also known as Prineville, what we're going to see here is another kind of a 12 to 15,000 person little community there, 358,000 median. Number of homes that sold was 15, days on market 44. Current inventory is 4 months worth of supply. So with all that being said, here we are. This is the state of the market for January of 2025, the slow time of the year where people are kind of gearing up. They're starting to think about what they're going to do. And then they take action eventually in March, in April, in May. If you were to do that a little bit ahead of schedule, start the process right now, you might have yourself an advantage as you go into those periods of the year, getting into the transactional season that others may not have if they're waiting for that perfect moment. Will rates come down this year? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But we are getting ready for a big shift in our leadership as a country here over the next couple of days. We'll see how things really shake out. What is it going to do to the market? Is it going to really shift things and shake things up? I don't expect that. I think this year is going to be relatively consistent in terms of where rates were to last year in 2024. Now it's just that kind of come to grips moment where people are like, okay, this is kind of the new normal. Is it going to be the consistent normal? I don't know. But what we do know is if we zoom out over the last 30 or 40 years, we know that 7% is about average for interest rates. And so people that want to compare 3-4 years ago to now, yes, they're going to be in for a rude awakening, and they're probably going to be waiting for a long time if they expect rates to come back down to 3%. It's not going to happen this year. It probably won't happen for some time, but who knows? I don't have a crystal ball, but that's just kind of what my gut is telling me right now. So we should be prepared for 7%, maybe 6.5, maybe 6. We'll see. No guarantees, but if they do come down, you can bet there's going to be a lot of people jumping in the market with you if you're waiting for that moment. So hopefully this video has served you in some capacity. If it is your time to reach out, please do so. Let's get that conversation started so we can be of the best service possible to you as it relates to your real estate needs. My name's Ryan. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty here in the state of Oregon, as is my partner, Zach. We appreciate your guys' support on this channel, and when it's time to reach out, please do so. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.